Um, Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Andrew. Um, I'm representing the Beavers Group, and we'll be talking about global challenges and global opportunities. So, from the challenges that we've been doing so far on ALX, so my team decided to pick good governance as one of our project topic to talk about. So what really prompted this actually is because of how corruption has been prevalent in the country in terms of electoral processes. So, for example, we have elections that the votes have been rigged and the people's choice is not what eventually comes up. So we thought of, can we have an app that people can actually use to vote without having to go through the process of lining up and at the end of everything, the whole stuff has been rigged. So we came up with a plan, and the plan is an application called Beavers. Now, before I proceed, the group comprises of 6 people. We have Anero, we have Stanley, we have Eyes, we have Comfort, we have Andrew, which is me, and we also have Blessing. So the next slide is our problem statement. So which I mentioned earlier, poor governance in Nigeria, characterized by corruption, lack of transparency, weak institution, and which is more prevalent during electoral processes. So during our discussion in the group meeting, we discovered that if we can actually have an app that can be very inclusive in the sense that every age group can actually use the app to vote. Now, and this one will be a form of, how would I put it now? It's going to be an app that every person, even though you are in the prison, you can vote. Even though you are at the hospital, you can vote. Even though you are very old, you cannot work, you can vote. It's just going to be like a regular mobile app that everybody have on their phone. So once it's election time, all you do is just log in, put in your details, and you voted. And there will be serious blockchain which is going to be at the background to actually make sure that this application is not compromised. So if you check this next data shown on the screen, if you see from 1979 to 2003, there's a progressive increase in number of people participating in election. Then from 2007 till 2023, the number of participation during election reduced drastically, meaning that some people don't even come out to vote at all, regardless of how government even wants them to come out. And the reason has been traced as a result of Mr. Dappel research that some people are scared for their life because there are some polling units that at the end of the election or even in the process of voting, a lot of tantrums normally come up and which actually leads to the loss of life of some people. So if you check the second data which is being provided, you will notice that federal government spend nothing less than over 400 billion naira to carry out election in the country. That's too much money to spend, where we can actually have an app that you all can actually use to actually vote without spending such money. And from what has been shown from record, it shows that most of this money, like over 200 billion naira, was wasted in procuring all this electoral materials. There were some of them that they end up not using because the number of people expected to come and vote was not the actual number of people that came out to vote. And the last data that I'll be showing before I go to our wireframe, this one is showing the credibility of the election. Now, there's a higher percentage of people, which is the orange line that you can see on the screen, is showing the number of people that are displeased with how election is being carried out in the country. In the sense that there is no transparency, there is no credibility. The person you voted for can later not be the person that you guys want to be the next president, which can be very evident from statistics. So this has actually brought my group to come up with an idea of let's have an app that can actually do this. And like I mentioned, the motive behind this is we want to achieve an unbiased and a credible election in the country, and it should be easy to use like every other mobile bank app that like I mentioned. Now, if you notice, we are in the tech world, we are in the new age, we are in the AI world. So whether you like it or not, we are going there. So if we're actually going there, then let's prepare our country, let's prepare the world at large for that particular time whereby you can actually vote through an app. So the name of the app will be called Beavers, and this is the wireframe. Now, this Beavers will be an upgraded one in the sense that it will not be easily compromised. It's either you use your BVN, your NIN, and you use your Gmail to sign up. And during your signing up, no two person can use a single Gmail, can use a single NIN. No two persons can use BVN. And as a result of biometric that we have nowadays, so by the time you scan your fingerprint and the face or the fingerprint is different from the BVN, you'll be rejected. The phone or the app will reject you from voting. So these parameters is here just to ensure that no two person can have access to that particular person's app. So once you have signed up and you have an account, the second one, which is verify your identity. So it's either use a face ID to confirm the face that has been captured during your BVN or NIN registration, or you use your fingerprints. Now, the reason why we have fingerprints is because there are some phones that they are making now that can actually use fingerprints, and there are some that if you don't use fingerprints, you can actually use your face ID just to verify that you are the owner of that particular account. So once that app has verified that you are the owner of that account, the next segment is where you have the column for the election that is happening currently in the country. Now, if you check the first one, we have governorship election, we have the presidential election, we have the senatorial election, we have the local government election. So whichever that you want to do at that particular moment, you just click on it. So for example, let's say for Lagos State, we want to determine who wants to be the next governor for Lagos State. Now, in the convenience of my house, I don't have to go all the way to a polling unit where I have to line up all day, and I might even end up not voting, or I might come back home tired, exhausted. So I can just click on my app after I've logged in, click on the governorship election. Now, if you check the next slide is taking us to states. Now, if you click on the governorship election, what state at that particular moment are you trying to vote? Now, the beauty of this is during your voters card registration, you cannot vote for another person's state. For example, if I'm from Lagos State, you can't vote for someone in another state. It's not possible because your voters card is registered to a particular local government in your state. So, for example, let me say Abia is where I registered my voters card, and there is an election going on there for the governorship election. So once I've clicked on the governorship, I can click on Abia State. Then once I click on Abia State, the third wireframe that you're seeing here is the names of all the political parties that we have. So, for example, if I want to do APC or PDP or whatsoever party, now if you check, we didn't use any of those common parties because of safety purposes. So I can just click on the party I want. As long as I click on the correct party, the next wireframe will take me to the face of the people I want to vote for, just for confirmation's sake. Now, assuming I clicked APC and the picture of the candidates are out here. Now, the face ID for the candidates is just a form of assurance that you know the face and you know the party you are voting for. So you click on the face, and after that, it will take you to the next segment, which is confirm your vote. The moment you click on the proceed, your vote would be marked. And immediately your vote is marked on that particular app. If you check this profile section, is where we call the menu button. Now, on the menu button, there's going to be various information concerning the dashboard. A dashboard in the sense that there will be dashboards to show the number of votes. Meaning that the moment people are clicking, per click is reflecting on the dashboard. So you don't have to wait till they announce that you know who is going to win. The moment you click here on your dashboard, your votes will reflect with every other person's votes all over the state or wherever you are, and you are connecting to vote for your particular state. It will reflect on the dashboard. So that's the beauty of this particular app. Now, during our induction, when we were trying to pitch it, we invited two of our ALX alumni to actually vet the app for us. And they asked us questions in terms of security. And the first question that came was, how do you educate the elderly or the illiterate on the technical know-how of the app? Now, it's simple. Like I mentioned earlier, I said the same way we operate our mobile app. Now, this is where we engage the power of social media. We engage the power of our publicity, our media, and there will be seminars to actually carry out that particular process. So for every polling unit that you know around, there will be intermittent programs to actually sensitize the people on how to use the app. So that aspect is covered. Now, the second question quickly is, how do you manage data information? Now, like I mentioned, I said we are going to a point whereby cloud is the next level of storage. Now, megabytes can take this and gigabytes can take this. Neither can terabytes take this because of the amount of traffic that will be happening on this particular app. So we would inculcate the cloud storage into this particular app, which will give us a leverage for a vast amount of people using that particular app at that particular point in time without any problem. So that is covered. And the third question was, how safe would be our personal information like BVN, NIN, emails to avoid cyber crimes? Now, with every invention comes new promotions, new offices. Now, this is where we will need our cyber security. And I believe many jobs would be open and many people will go into cybersecurity to actually secure this. The same way nobody can easily hack into anybody's mobile app except you give in the access. Same thing will be applied to this. So people's information, your BVN, your NIN will be securely safe as long as you don't expose your login details to anybody. Now, the last question that was asked was, how do you prevent people from other polling units or states to vote in another polling unit? And like I mentioned, every voter's card has a polling unit. Now, if I register in the polling unit here in Lagos, maybe Ward 1, now I cannot use that particular card for an election happening in Jigawa, because what? My card is showing that I am from Lagos State. So what you can actually get yourself involved is, I can only involve myself with the election in my state, in my local government, in my senatorial district. For anything that has to do with the presidential election, then you can actually vote, because that one is a general election involving all the whole states in Nigeria. But as long as you have your card registered to a polling unit, it cannot be used for another person's state or another person's local government to vote. So that was the interview questions that was asked during our presentation. And the next slide actually provides us with the necessary information regarding the question. The next slide quickly is, if funding were to be a constraint as a group, we would include the use of drones. Yes. So if we are able to bridge the gap of getting this into reality, what we would actually look into is also the involvement of drones during our electoral processes. Now, what do I mean by drones? Now, for example, in terms of logistics, we need drones so that people can actually trace how all this information and all the voting are being carried out seamlessly without any issue. So that's about that. And lastly, why are we doing this? Like I mentioned before I started this video, the reason why we are doing this is simply because we want an election whereby there would be free and fair election in the country. Now, the feature of this particular app is beyond the election in the country. We see people using this particular app in their organizations. Now, for example, in a private organization that we have to vote for someone as the next MD or the next person to take up a particular office, we don't have to, I can do that in the secrecy of my phone without being afraid of me saying it publicly and being attacked. So this app is coming to change the norms of the usual paper and standing in the queue, being afraid of casting your vote because there are some people monitoring who you are voting for and getting blocked for that. So we are looking at using the app that even people in the prison can also vote, even though you are sick and you are in the hospital. As long as you have a mobile phone or someone has a mobile phone around you, you can quickly log in, vote, and you're at peace with yourself. So yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So this is the Beavers group. Once again, thank you. God bless you.